And I almost forgot about this. Shout out to Kayvon Thibodeau for being the first player in any Wink Martindale defense to get double digit sacks. He's a bum. He stinks. He has a badly built body. All these things people said about Kayvon Thibodeau. And this guy comes out and is the first player in any Wink Martindale defense to get 10 sacks. How about that? We still got what? How many more weeks? How many? I'm looking at my watch. How many more weeks do we have in the season? And he's already at 10 sacks.
Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Today the Giants won, but they lost. Uh they won but they lost because right now the Bears just blew a lead, like a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to the Lions. The Cardinals, I think, had a shot to win the game. And let's check on this to see if they came back. Cardinals couldn't come back and win their game. So the Giants are going to fall to like what, 5 or 6 as far as standings go, as far as in the draft goes. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's Washington. I love to laugh at this team. I love that this team can't beat us even on our worst day. Tommy DeVito, the guy Tommy DeVito that I legitimately came out here and said last week, I pulled up Tommy DeVito's college stats. I pulled up his high school stats. Tommy DeVito in his life has never thrown for 20 touchdowns in college and high school. First off, Tommy DeVito has thrown for more touchdowns than Tyrod Taylor and Daniel Jones put together in less games and less attempts. Tommy DeVito, for the first time since Daniel Jones has started as a Giant, he's thrown for 2 touchdowns in multiple weeks in a row. Like, this is the first two. Like, shout out to Authentic for calling this stat out a couple of weeks ago. Tommy DeVito is the first Giants quarterback to throw 2 touchdowns 2 weeks in a row since Daniel Jones has started here. 18 for 26. DeVito is an absolute liability when it comes to your offensive line because this dude ran into about 6 or 7 sacks today. We gave up 9, but this offensive line did not play poorly. On all of DeVito's touchdowns and passes that he completed, he had like forever to throw the ball. But 246 from DeVito, 3 touchdowns. I got to give him props where he did do well. Saquon got shut out the entire first half, the entire first 3 quarters, to be honest with you. But all of a sudden had 2 big runs, put up 83 yards today. Darius Slayton looked like he was going to go over 100, but then he got hurt, dropped the pass. And it is what it is. It's just really hilarious to me that on our worst day, when we're trying to lose football games, and I'm still streaming right now, and I've been going back and forth with my chat because they're like, we messed it up. We couldn't tank right. My thing is this, like, once Brian Dable and Joe Shane say, we're not going to go get Carson Wentz, we're not going to go get, I think Nick Foles is, we're not going to go get a veteran quarterback who has won games before in this league. We're going to throw Tommy DeVito out there who hasn't thrown for 20 touchdowns in a season in his life. What more can you do? Now, Sam Howell threw 3 interceptions today. The first interception he threw was to Nick McLeod. Is Nick McLeod's job guaranteed as a Giant next year? If you're Nick McLeod and you have a family to feed, do you say, I'm going to make sure that I drop this ball, I drop this interception because the Giants need to get Caleb Williams, and I can just, sit on my couch next year and eat bonbons and not play in the NFL because I'm not a good player because I'm losing on purpose? Is Darnay Holmes, a guy who we've been wanting to get off of this roster for years, is Darnay Holmes going to say, no, I'm going to make sure I drop this interception because I don't want to feed my family next year. I don't want to be in the NFL next year. Is Isaiah Simmons, a guy who the NFL has mostly given up on, is Isaiah Simmons going to say, oh, I have a chance to make a highlight play to catch this pass and return it for a touchdown to where I'll show up on people's TVs and secure me a spot for next year. But no, we're gonna get Caleb Williams or we're gonna get Drake May, so I'm gonna drop this pass on purpose. I just don't think any of those players are gonna do that. Once you throw Tommy DeVito out there, you're tanking. Now, for Washington to go out there and allow Tommy DeVito, you guys should be mad at Washington. You guys should be mad and like furious at the Commanders for allowing Tommy DeVito to go out here and throw for 246 and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. They allowed that. The Commanders and Ron Rivera allowed Tommy DeVito to go out there and have a flawless game pretty much. The dude had 137 passer rating. Tommy DeVito. Tommy D. The guy whose touchdown celebration is this. This is Tommy DeVito's touchdown celebration. Like, you allowed him to do that touchdown celebration 3 times. That's who you should be mad. You shouldn't be mad at Brian Dable for coaching. You shouldn't be mad at these players for playing for their jobs and for their money. You should be mad at the Commanders for allowing Tommy DeVito to dice them up the way that he did, which makes no sense and will not happen again. It's not going to happen again. But that's what you all should be upset about. Sam Howell, like I said, the dude threw 3 interceptions today to 3 guys who, I mean, let's face it, 2 of those guys probably aren't on the roster next year. Isaiah Simmons is like 50-50. The Commanders fumbled 4 times. They lost 2 of them. They also fumbled on a kickoff, so they lost 3 of them on 4 fumbles. They completely imploded today, and that's on Ron Rivera. I was gonna call him John Rivera, but that's on Ron Rivera. Now we got a lot to look forward to the rest of this season. I mean, the Patriots next week. This could be another possible win for the Giants. The Packers could be a possible win, but at the end of the day, it's Tommy DeVito going against Bill Belichick. Do you really think that Bill Belichick can shut down rookie quarterbacks who actually amount to something, but he's not going to shut down Tommy DeVito next week? Like, Bill Belichick versus Tommy DeVito, you can take that to the bank. You can take it to the bank. Bill Belichick is going to win that matchup. Next week, like I said, after that is a bye. And then you got the Packers, which scares me if you're rooting for the tank, because the Packers are a bad team. They're a talented team, but they're inconsistent, and they could very well find a way to lose to us. But besides the Packers game, they're not beating the Eagles. They're not beating the Saints. It's not going to happen, folks. They're not beating the Rams. So you have nothing to worry about. The Giants, at best, the Giants are winning 4 games. We're going to be in that top 8 conversation. And we have 2 second-round picks. We got a first next year. We got a first this year. We got some 3rd-round picks. Leverage those picks. Go up and get that quarterback. If you want Drake May or Caleb Williams at number 2, go up and get that quarterback. If the Panthers have a top pick in this draft, the Panthers, they don't have a top pick. The Bears will have a top pick in this draft because the Panthers traded away that pick. But one of those picks, I really feel like is going to be up for sale. And I think the Giants are one of the better spots for one of those teams that want to trade in, because we're going to be in the top 10. We've already got 2 second-round picks, and we have a high 3rd-round pick this year. So it's basically like getting 3 second-round picks if you trade our 2 2s and a 3 and this year's 1, and maybe throw in the next year's 3 or something like that, or next year's 2 or 1. But I really think that we're going to be able to move up to get one. Now, if the Giants don't want to move up, that's a whole different discussion, because then it becomes like, would they have just taken a receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. at 2, and passed on the quarterback? Because a lot of Giants fans will check out and they won't watch football anymore if the Giants had number 2 pick and didn't take the best. Look at Tyreek Hill. I'm watching this Tyreek Hill touchdown, and it's ridiculous that he scored on it. But anyway, the Giants, if they passed on one of those quarterbacks, they would literally lose fans. They would lose fans if they did that. That would be a breaking point for a lot of diehard fans who have been fans for 20 plus years. That would be a back-breaking thing. But I still think you got guys like Penix. You got guys like Jaden Daniels. You got guys like J.J. McCarthy. Even Bo Nix, who I don't like. But you got quarterbacks that we can draft this year. You got quarterbacks that we can draft this year. You're gonna have a quarterback. You're gonna have quarterbacks coming out next year. If for some reason we don't get one, but I'm not worried. I think Joe Shane and Brian Dable are not. They're not stupid. They're gonna get a quarterback, and I think they can leverage the picks that they have. You got two twos this year. And I think a lot of why they accepted that was, first off, that was great value for Leonard Williams to get a second round pick. But also, you got two twos. You can trade one of those, and you can trade two of those and your third round pick, and go up and get a quarterback. And someone is in my chat saying you can't trade up for a quarterback if the top two teams need one. That's possible, but who knows? Maybe one of those two teams says they like Michael Penix Jr. Maybe one of those two teams says they like J.J. McCarthy, and they'll take a second and another second and a third and a first to move down 5 picks and still get a quarterback that they like and also get a king's ransom. So you never know. You can be aggressive here, but it is what it is. You throw Tommy DeVito out there. And you can't do any better job tanking than that. The only thing you can do is pull out the Buffalo Wild Wings sprinklers and trip your players up, or pay your players off to lose, or something crazy that just doesn't make sense. Because we all live in the real world, folks. Like, you're not going to convince these players who need to feed their families to purposely make bad plays. It's just not going to happen. So, the Commanders stink. They had no business losing this game. And like I said, don't be mad at the players going out there playing their hearts out to end the career and the game that they love. Don't be mad at them. Be mad at the Commanders for losing this game and turning the ball over 6 times. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 6 times and allowing Tommy DeVito to dice them up like that. So that's it. You guys let me know. I'm sure a ton of people are the sky is falling because we didn't tank right, but you can only do so much.